Hello, hello. We're playing the smoke room today. So, hup, uh, yeah, okay. Adjusting the stools and things, it's fine, don't worry. Yeah, we're just kind of, I think we're just going to get right back into it. Uh, I carefully scrambled up to the boulders and out into the early morning, the sun just barely rising. All the better that I'm getting out before the town really starts to wake up. I slid over the boulder to the ground, my button up and undershirt riding up as I do, and I feel the rough rocks scratch against my fur to my stomach and chest. I lean there for a moment, feeling the corners of my muzzle drip down as my body uh, starts to try and cry again, but I stop myself. I don't cry anymore, and I can't cry now. People might see, they might suspect something. So, with a deep breath, I turn around and start walking along the incline of the hill, toward the road to the main entrance of the mine. Once I get there, I start making my way back to the saloon, my feet kicking up dust as I can barely pick them up at this point. Ahead of me, I see someone walking up the road, a big guy, and it's only then that my stupid head realizes that being seen right now would be very, very bad. But he's already seen me, and I recognize him at the same time he recognizes me. He actually stops in his tracks just to stare at me. I stop too, unsure of what he's about to do. Then I'm just gonna adjust my microphone real quick, okay? Okay. Then he jogs the rest of the way, surprise on his face. Samuel, what are you doing? Then I see his eyes really widen up as he gets a good look at me. What happened? I. I'm still numb, even though I realize this is really real bad. Having Nick see me like this after what I just did. Fell down? Fell down? Nick repeats the words as if he's showing me just how stupid they sound. I look down at my shirt and see that it's covered in drips of blood. I reach up and brush the back of my paw against my nose, and the white fur comes back with a crusted flakes of more blood. I hear Nick gasp as I'm looking down, and he grabs me by the shoulders and turns me sideways. Dear God! What? Your head, it's busted all open. I reach back and all I feel is crusted up fur. Nick pushes my paws away. No, no, no. You need to see a doctor. I don't have money for a doctor. Then I'll help you see one. You don't got money either. I know others with money. Who beat you? I take a deep breath, staring down at the ground, knowing that I need to get back to the saloon before someone else sees me. Just some asshole on the street. I don't know who. Did he beat you because of your work? What did he look like? The badger's grip on my shoulders tighten. It's not often I see him angry. Still, I gotta get back. I pull away from his paws, moving up the road. I need to wash up. I can tell you more later. Samuel. Sorry, but I gotta go. Just come see me at the saloon sometime. Nick stays silent as he watches me walk off, and it's right then that I remember I still got my knapsack on, something I hadn't noticed all that time in the cave. I can only imagine it makes me look even more suspicious. I decide to stay behind the buildings on my way back, and it does a good job of hiding me from almost everyone who's up this early. I reach the saloon, walking up to the back entrance. I stand at the door for a minute, listening, but it's completely silent. Hopefully the girls turned in after their night of drinking. I open the door quietly, glad to see the place completely empty. On my way through the kitchen, I grab the smallest bottle of old rye whiskey that I can find, just hoping that it won't be missed, If it is, that it'll be blamed on someone else. As I move up the stairs as quietly as I can, I do hear some low murmuring coming from one of the girls' rooms, but I'm quiet enough on my feet that I'm sure they don't hear me. I finally get to my own room, open the door, wince as it makes the usual creaking sound that it always does, hoping to God that Cynthia isn't up to hear it. I stand in my room for a while, just staring, wondering how I got myself into this mess, at the same time realizing it's my own damn fault. I finally manage to make my way to the dresser, looking at myself in the mirror. As bad as I thought. White fur messed up. Yeah. Must up? Okay. Everywhere. Stained pinkish red down my nose and chin, my right eye swollen up a bit. I can't see the back of my head, but when I see it this way and that, I can tell from a few glances that it's a disaster back there. I strip down and go for about cleaning up, using my cup and drinking water barrel to pour water on my already bloody shirt, while I used to wipe up my fur. When I get to the back of my head, I can feel the skin moving around like always, but I'm not used to it. Moving around in ways, not always, just ways. Uh, and I wonder if Nick was right that I should see a doctor and get stitched up. Maybe after I've stepped. For now, I settle for opening the whiskey bottle and taking several swigs before pouring it on my shirt and pressing it at the back of my head. My vision flashes white and I suck air hard through my teeth, screwing up my face as I try not to scream. I do it a few more times until I just can't stand the pain anymore, dropping the shirt to my side, the side of the dresser, and finally stumble to my bed, carefully laying my face first on the pillow. The warmth of the alcohol is in my stomach dulls the aches in my body, and gratefully, I'm able to fall asleep. Samuel, you're real beat up, aren't you? I'm back in the hollow, laying flat on my back, staring into the dark. My face feels strange over my forehead and eyes, like it's caved in. I know I'm not alone because I can hear the whispers and slithering sounds in the mine. Something's been woken up, and it's restless. I feel something grab me, long, slender paws, finding that fingers that grip into my clothes and roll me over. It curls up my leg, sliding over my rear and back while it sits and clatters it to itself. Then, I feel it lean over and lock its teeth into the back of my head. It bites hard, crushing my skull and piercing my brain. Pain explodes in my head as I hear a high-pitched scream. Samuel! I jolt awake in my bed, pulling my face away from the pillow, damp with my own saliva and streaked here and there with dark red blood. What? Oh my god, he's alive! I hear movement behind me, and I look back to see Cynthia standing there, both paws to her mouth, the other girls showing up behind her to stare into my room. Sam, what happened? My head hurts way more than it did when I went to sleep, and I find myself just staring at them confused, vaguely embarrassed that I'm naked in front of all these females. Then I dry heave, and alcohol and bile come up to splatter on the pillow and onto the hardwood floor. This earns a few more screams from the girls before a much taller, older doe presses through them. Madame Dora stands in the doorway for a moment, taking in the scene before she shoos the girls away. I have just enough time to see Cynthia, her eyes filled with tears before the door shuts on her. Without any hesitation at all, Madame Dora walks over to gently pull me up into the sitting position. The room spins for a minute, and I have to shut my eyes tight to keep myself from throwing up again. The deer cups my face delicately, turning my head just slightly back and forth as she examines it. You should have come to me immediately, Sam. I don't know what to say, so I keep quiet. The older woman glances over at the dresser, seeing the whiskey bottle there. I wonder if I'm going to get in even more trouble, but she just shakes her head. You know, it's my job to keep you healthy. Whiskey isn't going to fix anything like this. Cynthia! The loud voice makes me flinch. Anything louder is making me flinch, actually. The door immediately cracks open, and the fox pokes her muzzle through, making me realize that they're all probably just pressed to the door right now, listening. Yes, madam? Stop that crying and get dressed. Run to Dr. Avery's. Tell him to come as soon as he can. Yes, madame. Cynthia disappears again, while the madam looks over the rest of my naked body, checking for any other signs of injuries before she looks back at me. Who did this? I glance down at the sheets, but she grabs my chin and gently, but firmly, pulls me back up to look at her. My job is to keep you safe. Be honest with me. I do not care who it is. Her soft brown eyes look right into mine, and I swallow. I was just having a walk through the streets. A couple of men came up behind me, bashed my head. I didn't see them. Madame Dora looks at me for a while longer, and I think she probably doesn't believe me. She lets go, though, and I immediately look back down into my lap, deciding to pull the corner of one of my sheets up so that I can at least cover myself a little. You should never go out alone without telling anybody, Sam. You know this. I'm sorry. Well, you've suffered the consequences. Stay in this room until you see the doctor. You won't be working tonight. That should be punishment enough while you rest. Now, put some trousers on so I can send one of the girls in to change your sheets. With that, Madame Dora gets up to leave, but not before gently setting upon my cheek, giving me a sympathetic smile before making her way out the door, sending the girls against the door scattering. The doctor comes by about an hour later, and I spend the afternoon sitting in a chair while he sews up the back of my head. 2 deep cuts with a good amount of bruising, according to him. He also mentions that it looks like I got hit with a heavy tool of some kind. I sit there quietly, wincing every now and then as he draws the needle and thread through my skin. Meanwhile, looking out the window, business is going on as usual. No shouts of murder, no crowds of people running for the mines. Instead, Echo seems not to have noticed a man named Jack going missing. Still, my stomach twists at the thought of what happened, and I'm still numb, both outside and inside. Maybe the little hollow is completely forgotten to the point that no one's been in there in years. If that's the case, then I might be able to make it out of this alright. But I'm not alright. I can feel it in my chest. I killed a man in that mine. That's bad enough. But something else happened there, and I don't know what it is. What I do know is that it feels like it's clinging to me, still watching me. I close my eyes, listening to the to threads pulling through my skin, just wishing that I'd never met Jack, never trusted him, and never went into that horrible mine. I've lost almost everything, and now I just might lose the rest of it. Man, I love the chapter screens in this game. They're like all really good. Okay. My head still hurts when I wake up. Been hurting for days and days. Dr. Avery said I was lucky when he took out my stitches. No infections. A bone bruise on my scalp at worst. Some heartless idea of luck. If I was lucky, I'd be doing something better with my life. Anything better. If I was lucky, I would have been born clever. I would have never met Jack, and he never would have done that to me. If I was lucky, he wouldn't be dead. And I wouldn't be a murderer. If I was lucky, I wouldn't have come to Echo. I still remember how Jack smiled when he mixed his tobacco. That's it. And how he smelled right after he died. I still remember his laugh. He was how he made me feel unique and special. I thought he was going to set me free. I thought I was going to be happy with him. I'm stupid. I'm so fucking stupid. I always feel something watching me now. It makes me scared, and it makes me want to cry. It hates me. They'll hate me. They'll hang me for this when they find out. I'm a queer whore, without a family or friends, in the middle of the dirty frontier. God damn it. The sudden pattering at the door just makes my head throb worse. Samuel? I peel the thin sheet off my chest, already missing them as the air sucks the warmth from me, and I sit up. All I see in front of me is the vanity mirror on top of the dresser. I'm looking back at myself, lying in the dark. Is there... Okay, so there is another mirror over there. Okay. It seems darker than usual, and I'm starting to hate looking into it when I'm alone. If I'll ever really be alone again after that day, there was something down in those mines. Black as tar and sticking to me. If I hadn't met the devil that day, it might have been a close associate of his. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around looking for someone to devour. Peter, 5'8". Is that a thing? I don't know. Oh man, raised religious and I don't know quotes. I'd always figured he'd be charming or devious. Tricky, like the good book described him. That's how he traps you, right? He makes you feel loved. He makes you feel unique in all of the world. And then you give everything to him, and he takes you, and you suffer. And that was more like the devil. That was more like the devil in Jack. What I felt was raw and mean. Some hunger, horrible malice. No tricks. Maybe that's the part of the Bible leaves out. What he does after he knows he has you. My soul is damned now, isn't it? Nothing will be the same ever for me, will it? I'm so scared. Samuel, may I have a word? Or a few? Go away, damn it. Come in. She bounces in, then falters. I see her narrow eyes widen, and the smile on her muzzle curl into a frown. I didn't mean to hurt you. Stupid of me to be so loud. It's not so bad. It is. You're crying. Hot streams run down my cheeks as I realize that she's right. I watch for her soft, sorrowful look to twist into curiosity, but it never does, and I start to wonder if the reason Cynthia has her job is because she's such a good actor. How could she not be suspicious of me? How could anybody ask? How could nobody ask again? Cynthia pulls out a thin roll of parchment from her dress pocket and places it gingerly on the dresser. Madame wants you to do a few errands today. Considering you've been idle, could be helpful for you to be out and about for a spell. She smiles shyly as she withdraws her paws from my vanity, twirling to my face, well, when she reaches my doorway. Find me if you need me to do this for you instead, of course, and return before dark. Stop fussing. I wouldn't be caught dead outside after dark. For the first time, I see Cynthia's features twist into a severe expression. Her voice lowers to a sharp hiss. Well, that's the frightful possibility of the moment, is it not? Follow the route. Do not bother going if you cannot. She closes the door on me without another word. The parchment just reads, "Take the day off and mingle with some folks in the saloon. If you plan on going out, follow the safe route where trusted eyes will be on you. Spend some leisure time today. That's not a request." I groan. It's hard to get used to the noise of the main saloon during the day. It's crowded. It's loud and crowded. Benton plays in the corner and hit on his twangy piano, while the constant murmuring of coworkers, family members, or squealing children add to the ruckus. It's not akin to my simple, sparse room at all. I like the paintings and botanicals hanging from the wood paneling, but don't much like that they hang from every from every turn corner. The paneling of the bar is buffed, shaved and warped into prissy little curls that resemble the fashionable. Oh man, just hiccuping. Damn it. Whatever. The fashionable new style. Art Nouveau. I forget how that's pronounced. Look, it's been a while since I've taken an art history course, okay? I think it's called. More important about the bar is that the folks generally know not to bother one another during the daylight. So I put myself there. Harlan's brows lift as he makes his way over to me. The severe old hair clicks his tongue to get my attention. What will you have, Sam? He's much bushier than he usually is, telling from the sheen of sweat on his brow. He always looks angry to me, but speaks in a flat manner, so I can never tell what's on his mind. The only hint I have on him is that his left ear flicks when he seems troubled in the lounge. His ear only stops during doing that for me a few moments ago. Just whiskey with sugar. Bitters too. I could do that, Sam. He pulls a clean sipping glass hanging from a rack and starts to busy himself with a few bottles and a jigger. I feel like if I'm supposed to be making idle chatter, I may as well start with my cohort here. You holding up well today? The hare grunts and leans in, lowering his voice to a whisper. We're big, but we ain't this big. I'm running out of stock faster than I should. And the girls can barely keep up. We're built for 30 in the lounge at a time. Not 40, not 50. If we turn people away, there's gonna be a fuss. He places my drink in front of me, finishing before I notice. He's fast. Enjoy, Sam. He leaves before I can thank him. Another customer has his attention now, ordering something complicated. I turn around to look at the rest of the bar behind me. The round tables, usually reserved for poker, are covered in drinks and food, holding patrons. The standing and hanging lamps in this room all have glass-cut panels stained pearly white, green, or gold. Some of the more expensive ones closer to the bar are electric, which Madame says is safer near the alcohol. The oil ones that are close to the cozy tables against the window look welcoming, but I avoid sitting near them during the day. What I see there now is a young girl crying over a drink she spilled on her gown. Her ma comforts her, while her son drinks beer. There's a crash as he spills his drink too. Bedden plays the piano a little louder, while some of the waitresses rush out with brooms and rags to help with the spill and to pick up the glass. I don't envy the waitresses much, but I would appreciate the opportunity to work day and night shifts here. Madame has me run errands for the board, but I should be making more. Harlan said I was too big to be running in and out of the kitchen. He probably wasn't wrong, but it's not the answer I wanted. I've been around here for so long that I'm starting to recognize the locals by the day they visit. Huxley, the rat in the corner with dusty sleeves, is always playing poker on his time off here with Reed, a shaggy wolf with a scar on his snout. Marcy told me that the rug is staying. Does Marcy pay your bills? No. Does Marcy know anything about the world beyond fussing, tidying, and playing the wooden puzzles all day when you're not about to coddle her? No, but the damn rug is her mom's. It's filthy. Yeah, it's her mother's. It's filthy. So she should clean it then. I watch them take turns drawing cards. She's tired, but she ain't that clever. I just stick her out looking at the damn thing. So do something about it then. Royal Flush. Son of a bitch. Stop distracting me with your damn stories. Mind your business and you'll win some. The rat smiles and takes his winnings, and the wolf snaps another dollar bill on the table. They often get a little rowdy, but they know not to push it too far. They're here so much, this is almost their home as much as mine, though I wouldn't exactly call them family. Wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even know who I was. I hear the saloon door open in the foyer. A spindly-looking weasel dressed in a dapper bow tie turns the corner. His nose twitches as he looks from one customer to another customer rapidly, with the and the widest, brightest grin I've ever seen spreads across his face. Goodness, here's the good old hustle and bustle that I miss. The reputation of Sagura's hip most certainly precedes her. The stout sounds foreign. British, maybe? But not quite the same as I've heard before. Some heads turn, and the stout looks as if he's making an announcement to somebody or another, but nobody in particular is paying attention or listening. I see Arlen's ear twitch. I'm sorry, sir, but we have no seats left aside from the bar. The bar sounds excellent, my dear. I hope not to impose for very long, you see. I've always wanted to visit an authentic Western saloon. Why wouldn't I want to start there? Cynthia laughs politely. She has to struggle to keep her ears from splaying. Huh, this is as authentic as it gets, sir. She slowly turns to guide him my way, near the bar. I give her a hard glare, and she tries to communicate "I'm sorry" non-verbally with her eyes and her grimace, but the man is seated right next to me. The perfume coming off of him is a bit herbal and strong. Thankfully, the stout ain't interested in me at the moment. His attention is taken by the bar table itself. He gasps and waves Harlan over with a spastic paw. Sir, is this genuine? This is a word. No, sir. Just Harlan. And I couldn't tell you. I just serve the drinks here. What'll you have? What's most popular? Beer. The stout frowns slightly. I try not to make eye contact with him. Ah, I see. Well, I'll have one of them then. There's more than one kind. Yes, well then, I would like to have whichever is the most preferred by the clientele. Harlan nods and gets out a mug. I smell the citrus in my drink and close my eyes to take a sip when I suddenly feel scrutinized. The hairs on the back of my neck rise. I look left, still facing forward, to see the stout stare me down. You're one of the workers here, aren't you? I nearly inhale some of my whiskey, and the back of my throat burns. I take my time to stop, to swallow, and then put my glass down. No, just a frequent visitor. That's strange. You fitted the exact description of somebody I was told to look for. Shit. I look up at Harlan, who's busy with another customer. His ear is still flicking. A mountain lion with beautiful marks and near white fur, built like a house, she said. Work does that to the body. Yes, it does. I can see the inside of his tiny ears blushing. He'd probably be cute if he didn't talk. This one won't be able to tell you very much about our evening selections. Come back after dark if you're interested. Harlan's voice is cold and sharp, and I suddenly feel a welling surge of thankfulness from him. Oh, my apologies then. The stout trembles as his pink paws glide over the buttons of his satchel, playing with them nervously. The ladies will be able to help you with whatever you need. Oh, but I'm interested in the men. My eyes widen. I start to sip on my whiskey faster. I don't mind that it burns going down. I just need something to keep my mouth covered so I'm not audibly gasping. I'm afraid we aren't that sort of establishment. Sir, I do not... Harlan. I do not mean to be impudent, but I was most specifically informed that you offered male options. Then you should have also known that you have to go through specific secretive channels to find me, you imbecile. You should stop yelling. I hadn't realized that I was. He wasn't. I think we need to have a talk outside, fella. I quietly thank the Lord that Reed doesn't know about any of my clients now. The bags under the middle-aged wolf's eyes are extra puffy today, and he always has a stale smell about him. I could tell that he's drunk from the way he swaggers. Harlan's ears twitching worse than it's ever been before. Outside sounds like a good idea. That was dangerous there was danger in the hare's tone. The wolf flinches from the sudden snap, but he shakes it off. I think I may have made a mistake. Damn right you did. One of the wolf's friends is staring at the stout from the table. He looks far less drunk, but far more upset. He's a frightful look. And when a mistake is made, a remedy can be supplied through good communication. I think talking would be a good idea. Outside. Cliff raises his paws, nodding, and puts the loop of his small satchel over his head. His thin, brown, black-tipped tail is bottle-brushed into what are unmistakably anxiety spikes. He leaves his beer untouched and swiftly escapes from the parlor out to the front door. Soon after, the other two follow. Shit. I have to think my options over. Seems like my new foreign friend is getting the authentic experience that he was after. On the one hand, maybe they'll go easy on him, and he'll learn some discretion. On the other hand, they might kill him if nobody's around to look. I rise from my seat. Let them be, Sam. You don't need to have any more stitches. I shrug and whisper. You just lost your customer, and I don't necessarily want to do the same. I need the money. Harlan places his fist on his chin, lifts his brow, and gives me a curt nod before I turn on him and exit the door. Again, I didn't mean to argue or create a scene. I truly thought my source was reliable. They said Sangarao's hip would cater to dandy curiosities. What in the name of God is wrong with this filthy limey? There are kids in there, you goddamn pervert. As if your friend has any room to talk. Cynthia has some filthy stories on him. What kind of shithole are you from that produces men like you? Educated men, no less. Educated, he says. Probably why he's here. Degenerate like him got chased out from where he came from. Wouldn't be the first faggot to lie. Not sure he's a faggot. Caught him making eyes at Marcy. The wolf coughs. Well, who don't? She's a nasty bitch. He's a filthy bastard who just wants to fuck anything, isn't he? Well, I certainly want to fuck neither of you. The wolf meets Cliff's stomach with a harsh impact. The weasel stumbles into the dirt, yowling as he spins. Filth suits you better than that woman's shit you're wearing, you greasy pile of shit. The rat advances onto the weasel's new location. He lifts his legs, lets it hang in the air for a few seconds, then lets it fall. He kicks 3 times. Hard. Cliff is letting out a horrible noise. I start to wonder if the little guy will get up, which unfortunately means I have to get into another fight. Claws extended. When all of a sudden, the rat stops kicking Cliff. He's sniffing and sobbing on the ground when the clamor of dozens of doors opening and people leaving their homes sounds throughout the streets. I spot William in the distance, and he's staring in the direction of the alley. Shit! I'm not paying another fucking fine. Let's get out of here before we're recognized. I like booze better than I had candy asses. I don't even know what that means. The two quickly run off, leaving the weasel curled up on the ground, covered in dust and bruises, tears streaming from his eyes. He makes pitiful sounds as he crouched over him on my knees. You all right, Professor? Student? Can you move? I don't know. Wiggle your feet. They move fine. Now your hands. Now your fingers. Good. You're fine. No, I'm not fine. I was beaten. Everything hurts. But you'll live without any permanent damage. Better than I can say for most people. For most who'd have the balls to do whatever you did back there. He's about to say something else. Furtively, I look left to right to make sure no one's looking. People are passing us rapidly, but few are paying attention. There must be something important happening in front of us. I bend down, shut him up with a soft kiss. He squeaks in surprise, trembling. His tongue is tiny and receptive, and he tastes like mint. Maybe that will help the pain. He stares at me, wipes the tears from his eyes, and slowly sits up. I'm amused by the sudden lump in his pants. You had the right place, but be smart about it next time. You're supposed to be good at that, right? There's a sudden disturbance at the town center. Hushed voices and urgent chattering all the way. Don't worry about getting a punch thrown at you from time to time. Being what you are here, see, there's always something for these folks to busy themselves with. They can barely control themselves. They'll forget this in no time. I turn back to put on my best smile for Cliff, but he's already gone. Seems like he's a slippery fella when he wants to be. Maybe he'll remember that the next time some slob's first is trying fists. Where's the R? Fist is trying to make an intimate contact with his gut. He's a doctor after all. If he's really a quick learner, then there really shouldn't be a problem, should there? I grow more concerned just pondering it. Meanwhile, the crowd is growing. More of them are men, some which I recognize, most of which are strangers. There are, of course, plenty of women peeking from their windows, pretending to arrange their curtains. But among the crowd are 2 familiar figures. One's William. The other is a red fox with a camera slung around his neck. Murdoch. I've seen his work at the general store, and do odd photography jobs about the town, but I've never had to speak with him. I don't know what these miners expect you to do, unfortunately. The big coyote sighs. The usual, I suppose. They want me to sniff out the scumbag, so he can dangle at the end of a rope. That, and then they can piss themselves drunk. What else? The fox smiles and sadly shakes his head. How cheerful. Well, at least it sounds like they know how to have fun. They might have had justice if only they had waited. I already know that Avery will tell me that these photos are useless. These boys are out for blood. They're hungry. They're tired. They're overworked. And now one of them is dead. Even if you paint the prettiest picture of how some bastard got drunk and nailed him in the head, they're not going to give them the relief they want. Well, maybe a keener eye than mine can produce some evidence. These pictures aren't going to show them anything interesting. Perhaps we can tell them that Ralph did it. Don't joke like that. Who's joking? The two men notice me. Sam. Just the man I wanted to talk to. William scrutinizes me with a sharp gaze, like he always does. I can read the familiar twinge of anger on his face when he stares at me, but I can sense a harsh protectiveness there, too, similar to Madame. Talk away. Somebody reported a dead miner. My chest tightens. Folks suspect foul play. The fox suddenly speaks up. And unfortunately, tampered with this crime scene. My ears perk up. William gives me a look at that. The fox regards me with a kind, thoughtful gaze. His chipper voice disarms me, and I feel a little less scrutinized. They brought the body to the town square, wrapped up in a blanket, and extracted the purported murder weapon. William growls and nods, jerking his head at the canvas in front of the hanging tree. Pulled the pickaxe clean from his skull. Did so much damage that we can't tell if the blunt end or the sharp end hit him. Why does that matter? Well, it muddles the narrative, doesn't it? Was he hit in the head, or did he hit himself? He didn't have safety equipment or a light. He didn't need to know. He doesn't need to know that many details, Murdoch. But most pressing is if there are any signs of a struggle. There won't be now. Ugh, idiots. So you might never know what happened? The coyote stares at me. Maybe not, but it's possible you could help us. I feel dizzy. Help how? With your proclivities. Murdoch looks away, appearing not to listen, but busies himself with his camera. He takes a snapshot of a few of the gathered crowds. I understand. I try not to look horrified, but it isn't working. I know you've seen plenty of miners. Folks get sloppy when they're, well... William's eyes linger on me, starting from the base of my feet to the peak of my ears. I need to know if Jack had enemies. Personally, I'm willing to bet the fool was looking for gold and wanted to steal it away from himself. Then he tried to use the pickaxe in the dark, but if something did happen, there's no better evidence than a confession. My stomach is churning. I can try, William. Good man. I'll stop by for a further questioning later in the evening. Finally, William is walking away. I let out a deep breath. William spent about 5 minutes having a conversation with you. He seems to like you. Shit. The fox is still here. What are you blackmailing him with? I choke and stumble. I don't want to be here anymore. I see Murdoch cock an eyebrow, and his smile grows thin. I was just joking. His tail sways slowly behind him, as if working up a thought. He sniffs the air for a second, and his gaze widens. Ha! But his scent is on you. Or so, maybe not. Either way, it's not really my business. I can feel my tail twist up, and a little bit of the heat rise in my ear. I'm in no mood to be toyed with. What ain't your business? What ain't your business exactly? The fox flicks his ears to the brothel and makes a jerk-off motion into the air. Just paying for something I can get for free. That's all. I certainly wasn't expecting an answer like that, but I can't help but laugh. Sounds like being a sucker. Not the word choice I'd use for this conversation. Not wrong to some effect. He shrugs. Maybe I'll have some questions of my own tonight when William shows up. And maybe some answers too. Answers? Yeah. Like how to have fun around here. Breaks my heart to see a newcomer so gloomy. I'm not looking for fun. I'm looking for prospects. Fun and prospects don't have to be separate. That sounds like the kind of shit that Jack would have said. If anything, I could help on the communication end. I've got more than a few. Third generation, born and raised. Sounds suspect. Well, I should hope not. Locals around here have reputations to uphold. After all, wouldn't want to be seen as a troublemaker. He grins. Not the kind of reputation I'm after, I'm afraid. Good thing that we're balls at it here, then. Clean-cut grocer and school teacher. No pirates, no bandits, no upstart revolutionaries. Bit pathetic if you ask me, but it puts bread on the table in an up-and-coming city like Echo. It would bode well to have your name established on a map early. I can tell he's kept his job. Bleh. I can tell why he's kept his job as a salesman now. Maybe I'll consider your advice. Maybe is all I need. Murdoch takes a bow and makes a hand gesture before turning away on his heels, his big tail swaying from side to side. I've certainly had my fair share of people or excitement for the day. If I want to be sane tonight, and more importantly, alluring, then I ought to catch a nap. I don't feel so good about William coming to visit me tonight. I'm usually always honest with him. Probably why he trusts me. Can't be like that anymore. At least not for a little while. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this video. So, yeah. See you around, everyone.